Have you ever wanted to have epic descriptions in your tabletop role-playing games? Well then listen up, because that's what this video is all about. We're going back to basics to describe how to describe. Okay, every single tabletop role-playing game exists within the collective imaginations of the people who are playing it. And this idea that floats around between all these people is communicated in words, either verbally or written in text. Now, some of these ideas can be drawn out or you can make models, but most of the thing that's going to occur at the table is going to be words. And so understanding how to use words appropriately to describe what your character is going to be doing, or to describe the setting and the area that you're describing to the players, is fundamental. Now that we know why we want to describe and be good at describing things, let's talk about how we can be good at describing things. One easy way is to think of the 5 senses, right? You have taste, touch, sight, smell. What was the last one? Taste, touch, sight, smell. Oh, and sound. Of course it's got to be sound, because you're listening at the table. So we want to add as many of those as we can every single time we're describing something. You don't want to simply say what it looks like. You might also say it how it sounds, or how it smells, or maybe even how it tastes. Having great descriptions can enforce and reinforce the vibes that you're going for your table. If you're trying to be a player in the game, you can reinforce your character's, what's the right word for it? Your character's character, who they are as a person. They could be gruff and exterior. You could describe how they look whenever they're doing these actions. You can describe how they sound, and this can add a lot to your characters. If you're a referee, you can reinforce the tone that the setting has. If it's supposed to be really dark and a dreary tone, you can add more elements of dark and dreary. On the other hand, it's supposed to be light and fun. Well, then you can add more light and fun elements in your descriptors. So if you want it dark and dreary, you can describe how everything is dark and shadowy and things are overhanging and it feels gloomy, it smells musty. And if it's light and easy, you can describe how things are bright and birds are chirping and sound is almost heavenly, right? So you want to add descriptors that match the tone that you're going for. Next, you want to slow it down. It takes a moment for you to process in your mind how this all works. So just taking a deep breath, thinking about what you're going to say before you actually say it will help your descriptions immensely. All right, let's walk through the steps for describing anything in a tabletop role-playing game. The first thing you need to do is adjudication, which we talked about in our last Back to Basics video, which you can watch, link in the description, doobly-doo, whatever you call it. So you want to know what is going to happen. Secondly, you want to imagine the scene in your head as best as you can. I know that some people have like aphantasia where they actually can't think of things and visualize in their head, but whatever you want to do, like try to imagine it as best as you can inside your head before you start saying it. So you want to know what happens and you want to know how it happens. Then you want to think about your tone. What are you going for? What the vibes that you want to give to everybody else at the table. And then you want to try to think about the senses that you're going to describe this through and add those senses in to your description. And you don't have to do all of them. You can just pick a couple. How's it going to sound? How's it going to look? How's it going to smell? Let's talk about some practices that we can do to improve our descriptors. We know how we need to do it. We know why it's important, but how do we get better? I mean, okay, yeah, we're going to slow down. We're going to try to use descriptors. Well, first you've got to practice. You have to practice describing things that you imagine. So you don't have to do this necessarily while everybody's seated at the table. You can do this while you're driving in the car, if that's not too hard, or while you're sitting at a park, or while you're trying to go to sleep. Just verbally describe it in your head. If you can produce a voice in your head, describe what is going on that you imagine. Next, you can also listen to other people describe things by listening to audiobooks or watching people play tabletop role-playing games. Pay attention to how the DMs, GMs, and referees out there actually describe what's going on. Do they slow it down? Do they pick specific words? What are they doing? Watch it critically. Watch it critically to see how the referee is doing what they're doing. Don't just watch it for entertainment. I mean, that's great, you should do that. But if you want to get better at describing, you want to be paying attention for how these referees are doing that. What exactly are they doing to add those extra oomph that gives it the magic that it has at your table? You can also read fiction books. Read from the greats, like Robert E. Howard describing Conan slashing people to bits. You can read, like Redwall has some great descriptions. You can read Tolkien, that's got great descriptions, right? You want to read as many different varied styles as possible because that's how you can pick up your own varied style, your own unique way of describing a situation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video of some value. If you would give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all the things. I hope all your games are full of dread and laughter.